The Knox Chovero public address is expected and anticipated to be done roughly by 9:30. It was scheduled for 9 o'clock. That is in the, today, just a few moments ago, but because of it hasn't, I think, been the the file hasn't been uploaded. We expect it to actually be live after 30 minutes. After 30 minutes. In fact, they said by 9:30. Knox posting on his account just a few moments ago. It is definitely coming. He actually had this to say. He says, "Good evening, Zimbabweans, fellow Zimbabweans, Pachipamwe. We sincerely apologize. We are experiencing a technical glitch, and my address will be live at 9:30 p.m. So let us actually be patient. At 9:30, we will be bringing you the audio live broadcast of Knox Chovero. Knox Chovero public address comes as plans by Emerson Dambuzo Mnangagwa to actually get rid of retired General Chiwenga have been unearthed. Anyway, I think I have a document now of the actually the document that I promised to read it to you regarding the plan by Emerson Dambuzo Mnangagwa to isolate retired General Chiwenga. As I promised, I will actually be taking the reading. Before Knox Chovero come through, let me actually go through the document one page after another. So I'll be simply reading. It says, executive summary, key intelligence findings: Zimbabwe is facing an imminent pre-planned succession crisis of the highest order. President Emerson Mnangagwa will resign within 7 to 14 days of signing the Constitution of Zimbabwe Amendment Number 3 Bill, Cap 3, into law, triggering constitutional mechanism to install First Lady Auxilia Mnangagwa as the new president of Zimbabwe. This operation, codenamed Operation Amai Zimbabwe, Mother Zimbabwe, represents a sophisticated constitutional coup designed to bypass the constitutional succession rights of the vice president Constantino Chiwenga, eliminate direct presidential election, one person, one vote, install Auxilia Mnangagwa for a full 7-year term through 2033, protect the Mnangagwa family and their financial interest from prosecution, consolidate power among a cabal of sanctioned businessmen and criminal syndicates. Critical judgments: President Mnangagwa will resign within 7 to 14 days of Cap 3 signing, or President Mnangagwa will force the dissolution of cabinet government members, including VPs, through his signature and enactment of Cap 3. Through this way, this is how they will systematically fire the first vice president, CDGN Chiwenga, as he will not be reappointed in the next government. According to the Senate Cap 3 amendments, this leaves the second vice president, KD Mohadi, to be the interim president, as he was the last acting president to act as acting president. The second vice president, KD Mohadi, as the interim president, will then instruct the clerk of parliament to call for elections of the president through the MPs and Senate in a joint sitting. Thereafter, the parliament will elect the president, who after election will reconstruct the government. Auxilia Mnangagwa will be elected by parliament within 30 days by July 31st, that is 2026. The operation is financed by the Takwiri Tungwarara Chivayo Sakupanya criminal cartel. UPET Angel is operating as a strategic facilitator with diplomatic cover. 200 to 500 Zimbabweans are being trained in Belarus for rogue military intelligence operations. Wagner Group mercenaries have been contracted for transition security. Military intervention by Chiwenga faction is a significant risk. And here is widespread civil unrest and violent repression is anticipated. Immediate threat assessment, civil unrest, mass protest, violent state repression, military factional conflict, international sanctions, economic hyperinflation, regional humanitarian crisis, cross-border refugee flows, and they are giving dates of these incidences, and they are saying there is high probability that such will occur. Strategic assessment, the strategic objective the Mnangagwa faction seeks to achieve through constitutional manipulation what cannot be achieved through the democratic means, the indefinite extension of family rule, and the protection of massive financial interest acquired through state capture. Primary objectives: install Auxilia Mnangagwa as president, ensure family control of state machinery, extend term to 7 years through 2033, provide long-term stability for criminal network, bypass Chiwenga's succession, prevent investigation into corruption and human rights abuses. So as I have indicated, we are reading the intelligence report since Knox Chovero's public address has been delayed. It will surely come through, but it has been delayed. Once it comes through, definitely you will see us airing it for you. So, eliminate direct presidential election, remove democratic accountability, protect financial empires, maintain access to state resources and looted funds, consolidate Zwikananda factional power, reward criminal cartel for financing operation. And now secondary objectives: neutralize military opposition, suppress civil resistance, international legitimization, establish drastic rule. Wagner and Belarus trained mercenaries provide massively, prepare for mass repression, counter sanctions and diplomatic isolation, create a precedent for family succession. The political context: the 2017 precedent. In 2017, Mnangagwa and Chiwenga orchestrated a coup to remove Robert Mugabe, supposedly to save the country from First Lady Grace Mugabe. The military intervention was justified as a response to counter-revolutionary elements surrounding the president. The irony: now just 9 years later, Mnangagwa is orchestrating a remarkably similar operation, but this time around to install his own first lady. The difference is that the architects that have learned from Mnangagwa's mistakes. Mugabe tried to impose grace while clinging to power. Mnangagwa will step aside voluntarily, triggering a constitutional mechanism. This provides legal cover for what is fundamentally a dynastic power grab, the Chiwenga factor. Now I continue with the page that I did not read before. Vice President Constantino Chiwenga, the architect of the 2017 coup, is now the target of the operation. His hostility to Cap 3 and resistance to Mnangagwa's term extension have made him a threat to the Mnangagwa family's interest. Intelligence assessment: the operation is driven by fear of prosecution, fear of loss of ill-gotten wealth, and fear of accountability. The Mnangagwa family and their allies have looted billions from the Zimbabwean treasury and face exposure if Chiwenga assumes power. The constitutional mechanism Cap 3 analysis. Cap 3 overview. The Constitution of Zimbabwe Amendment number 3 Bill 2026 represent the most significant alteration to Zimbabwe's constitutional order since independence. It is not a collection of independent policy changes, but an integrated legal framework designed for controlled succession. Key constitutional amendments. Section 92, President elected by direct popular vote. President elected Parliament joint sitting eliminates one person, one vote for presidency. Section 922, election follows general election. Election also occurs whenever necessary to fill a vacancy, creates a trigger mechanism for rapid succession. Section 92324, majority in first ballot or runoff. A parliamentary majority required, ensures ZANU-PF supermajority controls outcome. Section 925, ZEC conducts election. ZEC conducts election per standing orders, procedural control. Section 926, elected president ceases to be MP if currently serving, prevents conflict of interest concerns. Section 927, vacancy triggers 30-day parliamentary election, enables controlled succession. Section 928, no substantive policy changes during vacancy period, freezes policy environment during transition. Section 92B, 5-year term, 7-year term, provides extended mandate. Section 952A, notwithstanding Section 328 applies, bypasses the constitutional protections. Section 101, Vice President succeeds. Parliament elects successor, eliminates Chiwenga's path. Section 1431, 5-year term, 7-year term, alliance parliamentary duration. Section 1432A, 5-year term, 7-year term, alliance parliamentary duration. Section 1432A, notwithstanding Section 3287 applies, bypasses constitutional protections. Section 145, first sitting after election. Clerk determines time, date within 14 days. Procedural control. Section 158, elections 30 days before expiry. Repeals president and further centralizes control. Not the outstanding. Let me just sort out my things. The outstanding Section 3287 loophole, constitutional context. Section 3287 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe states that any amendment to the Constitution that affects presidential or parliamentary terms does not apply to the incumbent. Cap 3 innovation. Cap 3 inserts the phases notwithstanding Section 3287 in sections 95 bracket 2A, 1432A, effectively overriding this constitutional protection. Intelligence assessment. This is a deliberate constitutional manipulation designed to, 1, allow the incumbent president to benefit from the extended term, 2, allow the incumbent parliament to benefit from the extended duration, create legal cover for what would otherwise be unconstitutional self-dealing. The succession mechanism, the trigger, creates the mechanism in the case of a vacancy in the office of the president due to death, resignation, removal, or incapacity. An election must be held at a joint sitting of parliament not more than 30 days after the vacancy. Implementation. 1, there is step action, legal basis, timeline. 1, Mnangagwa resign. Section 90. Section 92324, within 30 days. Auxiliary elected. Section 925, by July 31, 2026. Inauguration, Section 9.4. Immediately following election, August 2026, before September 2026. Intelligence assessment. The mechanism is legally sound on its face, but substantially fraudulent. It uses constitutional means to achieve an unconstitutional end, the installation of a president who has not faced the people. This thing is long. I think if I read all of it, then it may take some time. So we are still waiting for the actually Knox Chovero public address, which would be done in few minutes time. So I'm thinking I should actually try to now either cut. Let me check whether there is a progress that has been made so far. We expect this live. Okay. So indeed, by exactly 9:30, we are left with almost 7 minutes. The live broadcast of Knox Chovero would be coming live. So I think it's prudent to wait. But in the meantime, let's actually be talking about it. What exactly do we expect Knox Chovero to address on? The title of the address is written "The Firing of VP Chiwenga and the Rise of Auxilia." So it's basically the intelligence report that I was reading you. We expect it to feature prominently on the address of Knox Chovero, but it remains really to be seen as to whether he is going to be telling us that which has already been leaked on social media, or there is going to be an action plan. I see already about 87 Zimbabweans are waiting for this premiere that will actually be airing shortly. So we are waiting for it. So developments that are happening in the Zimbabwean politics. Emerson Tambudzo Mnangagwa set to resign according to the intelligence report that has been leaked. And if he resigns, he is looking forward to put his wife. I wonder, Mnangagwa doesn't learn. This is exactly the same path that was used by Emerson Tambudzo Mnangagwa. Does he think this time around he will succeed? Well, according to the intelligence assessment, they are of the opinion that unlike Robert Gabriel Mugabe, Emerson Tambudzo Mnangagwa is actually trying to cover up the loopholes that were done by Robert Gabriel Mugabe. And it is said that some military personnel are being trained in Belarus to ensure a security mechanism in place in case the military is not on the side of Emerson Tambudzo Mnangagwa. So all this have been planned for quite some time. The mind-boggling question is, was the retired General Chiwenga faction at par, especially when it comes to anticipating this planning from the side of Emerson Tambudzo Mnangagwa? It is quite interesting. It appears Mnangagwa has always had a plan. It began with Sengezo Tshabangu destroying the opposition in Zimbabwe, and after neutralizing the opposition in Zimbabwe, Sengezo Tshabangu being used to also forward the Breaking Barriers Initiative document. And by the way, before we talk about Sengezo Tshabangu, there is something that people tends to be angry at Sengezo Tshabangu, but I am of the firm view that Sengezo Tshabangu was actually brought into the picture through the plan of Professor Jonathan Moyo. So the Breaking Barriers Initiative is a document of Glenn Barney as well as Professor Jonathan Moyo, and that document was supposed to be presented by someone none other than Professor Jonathan Moyo, and it was supposed to come through the opposition, so that Emerson Tambutso Mnangagwa can simply say within ZANU-PF, especially to retired General Chwenga, when he is questioned about the non-succession plan that they agreed on, he would simply say, no, this is coming from the opposition. It's not coming from me. And that's why you saw individuals like Daniel Gawe being sent to the grassroots to specifically look to campaign for this illegal actually term extension of Emerson Tambutso Mnangagwa, and it's translated to be a illegal constitutional amendment bill number 3 of 2026. Of course, we've seen this bill coming to life, being given life, and the CCC members of parliament as well. It was embarrassing for senators. Only 4 senators of CCC decided to stand with the people of Zimbabwe, while the rest of the senators decided to actually sell out. That is the reality that the people of Zimbabwe have to live with. Well, the moment for us to cross over the floor and listen to Knox Chovero, it is almost drawing nearer. Very soon, in few seconds to come, we will definitely be tuning in. I can see the countdown is already about to start. We are now at 29 minutes past 9 to be precise. This is a delayed update because of technical glitches. Anytime from now, the video should be starting and we will be playing it for you. Let's hope the network will not determine us, will not actually disappoint us. So we will be very soon be hearing from yours truly, Knox Chovero. Someone says, did Chwenga wrote or seeing as an agreement that he will take over? I think from what we are learning is that definitely when the coup was initiated, there was a gentleman's agreement, not necessarily something that was written down. It was not written down, but a lot of retired military generals, most of them whom have been eliminated, they know that it was discussed, and that's what is capitalizing on. It was just a verbal agreement, and even if it was written agreement, do you think Emerson Dambuzo Mnangagwa would have stick to this agreement? I don't foresee him doing so. Mnangagwa had plotted this moment that we are in today. The mind-boggling question is, will he succeed or he will be stopped? That is the very, very most fundamental question when we deal with this matter of ZANU-PF succession. So we are moments away. If we are counting now, it's just a matter of seconds before Knox Chovero gives us a public address. So it's countdown from 18, almost few seconds from now, as you hear the background sound. So let's cross over to Knox Chovero's address.
Greetings, fellow Zimbabweans. This is yours truly, Comrade Knox Chovero. Tinokuthambirai, hatisangane takane mufaro. masamba asiyana chero kwauri mwana wezimbabwe mativi mana enyika nevari kunze kwenyika vakafira nyika ino vari mumasango mukati nekunze kwenyika nevapenyu vari kutamburira nyika iyi vose vakagwira nyika ino iyi vana vari kuhlupika vari kudya nhoko dzezviro ndinzwei nemidzimu yenyu yese pairiko zvino masamba tata asiyana kuzoti vana havana kutiudza iyo nguva yakwana vana vezimbabwe tiri kusimudza zvino tiri kutaura nemhepo nyika ine varidzi ndivo vatiri kutaura navo panguva ino. Last time when I appeared before you, I promised to update you on developments culminating in decisive action against Mnangagwa, the president who has gone wrong. I promised the action, and I can stop. The time is here. And what will trigger this stop remains the same reason why Mugabe was toppled. We are in the midst of a signal. Wisdom dictates that change is the most permanent thing on earth. Like in Zimbabwe, the more things change, the more they remain the same. The Mugabe script is back. Fellow Zimbabweans, I am sure you know that Mnangagwa has called the MPs for a special sitting tomorrow to hasten the completion of amendments to the Constitution of Zimbabwe, Amendment Bill number 3. Among the major changes to be tabled tomorrow are attempts to remove a clause stating that the Vice President takes over if the President becomes incapacitated. To Mnangagwa, this is the final act in a carefully planned power transfer carried out behind the closed doors. And we know who is being targeted. Of course, none other than Vice President Chovero. But the reason is now known. The horse is bolted. The plan, fellow Zimbabwe, is that Mnangagwa has been fast-tracking the bill because he's running out of time on his evil plans. The plan is bigger and more sinister than you can imagine. The public, standing at the edge of history, not a history written by the people, but one written behind the closed doors. Mnangagwa is planning to resign immediately after signing KB 3 into law to pave the way for his wife, Axelia Mnangagwa, to become Zimbabwe's first female president. By the time the people realize what happened, Axelia will already be in the State House. Fellow Zimbabweans, I think memories are still fresh of how Mugabe in 2017 tried to impose grace to power in his dying moments of his rule. But this failed because the military saw into it and stepped into blocking. Actually, in Mnangagwa's rule. And Mnangagwa is now doing the same by mutilating our own constitution with the help of some mercenaries like Ziyabi, Jacob Mutenda, and some of his honorable MPs. Whether you support the government or you oppose it, the Constitution belongs to all of us, not to a family, not to a faction, and not to a few powerful individuals. And in the center of Mnangagwa's evil plot is the newly rewritten Section 92 of the Constitution. This clause takes away the power from the people by replacing direct presidential elections with parliamentary ones. Writing on Section 92, subsection 7, which demands that a new president should be elected not more than 30 days after the position fell vacant. Mnangagwa now plans to resign soon after signing the bill. But before signing, he will dissolve the cabinet. Kembo Mohadi takes over as interim president, as the last acting president. Mohadi then instructed the clerk of parliament to summon MPs and senators to elect Auxilia as new president. Auxilia will then constitute a new government that will exclude Chiwenga, a technical way of hiring. I want to tell you, Mnangagwa's time plan. Come June 3rd, 2026, Parliament convenes for its extraordinary sitting. Early to mid-July, Mnangagwa will sign Table 3 into law. Mnangagwa will dissolve cabinet, including the VPs, and resign, citing health for personal reasons. July 2026, the resignation triggers the vacancy under Section 92, subsection 7. Within 30 days, Parliament will elect Auxilia Mnangagwa. End of July to early August 2026, Auxilia is inaugurated as Zimbabwe's first female president and forms a new cabinet that will exclude Chiwenga. She assumes office for a full 7-year term, which will end in 2033. Fellow Zimbabweans, all this will be enabled through funding by criminal cartels that include the Kudakwashe Tagwirei, Paul Tungwarara, Wishneu Chivai, Scotty Sakupkanya, and Jubejenche, among others. We know they are also getting the help from ZANU-PF officials like Opam Chinguri and Chris Mutangwa, who have been promised the position in the presidium for dumping Chiwenga. So Zimbabweans, it is now clear that Cable 3 is a project to stop Chiwenga from succeeding in Mnangagwa. This is ingratitude of monumental proportions. To do this with the man who put his head on the block for Mnangagwa to return from exile to take over power. But the fellow Zimbabweans, Mnangagwa knows that the road will not be easy. He is afraid of the people's reaction. As we speak, he has been working with the Wagner group from Russia, from the Yevgeny Prigozhin, and the Belarus to prepare for resistance if people react against this transition. Zimbabwe's history is repeating itself with a twist. In 2017, Mnangagwa and Chiwenga orchestrated a coup to remove Robert Mugabe, supposedly to save the country from First Lady Grace Mugabe. Now, just 9 years later, Mnangagwa is orchestrating a coup to install his own wife. The difference is that this time, the architects have used the constitution as a weapon, legalizing their power grab. Fellow Zimbabweans, there is a storm ahead, but be assured, the people will always conquer. The time is now. Sanyepe vana veZimbabwe. Zvikananda, zvinhu zvakarongwa kareshi. Unonzwa mutsvango achida kuzama kutaura kuti zvigananda zvinoboreva munhu akapiwa zvikwanisiro zvekuita pfuma. Kukefanika asingazive context yatinodescribe zvigananda zvataakuona. Idzi imbavha dzinotora pfuma yevanhu voishandisa kuita zvavanoda kuti vawane power. Philanthropists, ivo vari mapredatory benefactors. Zvigananda iko zvino zvapinda muhombodo kutora power ye1,000,000. Plani yaED yekuisa mudzimai wake apa yakabvirwa kare. Zvakambotaurirwa izvi panguva yai pemberera nyika yeSaxiliati famba achidzidzisa vanhu kubika mufushwa. Zvese chaizwa kwakuri kumupa publicity. And akanga akavigwa she remained a dark horse. Vanhu muchitandavisa nevasiriwo kuti ndo vanopinda vanoda kupinda, iye akahwandiswa. Saka pamuda kunzi mukwerekana mangororohwa chete nechekuseri, mumwe wanzi Assyria ndiye asarudzwa, vanhu vese vachikodedzera kuti munhu wese kuna amai zvavakajaira. Saka akotsaina kebhutsu iyoyo, Mnangagwa akuziva kuti ini ndikasiyana kebhutsu iyi chekutanga vanhu havandidi ende it's unpopular. Saka akaigadzirira kuti muchada kuresista sei. Asi chiripo ndechekuti achingopedza kusaina chete obva angoti inini ndakura kana kuti handitandwa zvakanaka. Vanhu vese vaitwa whipped because apa tine a discreditable parliament ka. They will all be whipped into motion kuti vavhotere vaelekte Assyria Mnangagwa. Zvatopera. Tinetenge takuzwa women speak chipa kuti gender. Asi chinoshamisa ndechekuti resolution ya 2024 yamakaititira yainyaudza nyika ino yose ichinziri kuti Mnangagwa 2030. Ko izvi zvakambisira zviri paresolution yenyu here zvangu zviripo here kutambana chete nekutamba. Kembo Mwati achasiyiwa ari the acting president, interim president. Kembo obva adedzera kuti tiri kuda kuti tichielekta president according to the new constitution ye30 days. Saka Assyria manje apa ndopo obva anzi takuita president. Assyria obva auya negovernment yake. Can you imagine the kind of government ingafomwe with Assyria kuti inenge yakamira sei? Apa Assyria akupinda the queen mother, the regent queen, achangobata-bata. Asi chiri chinozi chakazomirira chi mumwe mwana president take over after 7 years. Dynasty kutangira pana Assyria. Mnangagwa acharamba ari in power kumberiwo isa pitikoji ya Assyria. Iye ari kumashure. Asi ndiye anenge achitapura achida kupusa. Vanotora nyika yese kutaurwa ngezvejuta naEmerson. This is the truth. Chiwenga and others will be sent to the political dustbin. Izvo zvinhu zvikaitiberi. Not only Chiwenga is going to suffer, all war veterans, all military personnel, Virenge and fire, vese vana veZimbabwe, vanoda democracy, all opposition parties, everybody, opposition politicians with the progressive ideas, vese vanokandwa mubhini apa. Nekuti chinhu ichi mafambiro achakuita achitafamba nemutemo, hatina constitution chaakufamba nemutemo wepamabhini ndopane nyaya. Vana Krisi Mutangwa obva kuchikuri, Krisi Mutangwa tarisa yekuteni yaakaita yekutenga kutsigira kuti zvigananda there is nothing wrong. Nekuti yatochigananda manise yekumondoro iwe yese tiri chinozvari kuita iwe ngomurira vanhu dust. People are complaining there is no development irikwekuye iproject yake in which he is a major shareholder. Krisi Mutangwa was an ambassador to China for quite a long time. Investment yakaudza from China ni pakangara ambassador. Pakatingwa kuchina achidzoka muno ndopakatanga ane profit kuti henda akatwara hakuchi ndopakatanga kuda kuopoza. Haana chaakapeta akanga angobirira kungoti kakangonzi kune Chinese delegation ira kuZimbabwe inoda kudiscasa zveinvestment uye obva aitwa pamberi kunzi ndiakanga ari kuchina ndiagona kuti ataure nemachinese nezvatinenge tichida. Zvaakadedza kuti ari ambassador iko zvino aakumirizika manje akapromiswa kupinzwa mupresidium vakomana vakapusa hapana pavanopinda obva muchimburi hamai mitiro kuti vewe titini obvayo loyalty yako soka ende nechaunodirwa padhuze tinochiziva because une masikireti mamwe awinawo anenge kuti ukaiswa kure vanogona kufunga kuti ungazvotaura masikireti acho iwayo asingazotadza kusara kuti zvinhu zviite zvigare zvakanaka mukati menyika. Ukwizana nyaya ndiri kutaura, nyaya ndiri kutaura yavakanyorera bhuku rekufa kwatongogara waiziva, vanhu vanoiziva. Tagwire aiwa kaimijuika vakapiwa kakunzi chiitanga mari wako mari mukati ndakupa mari hapana kachibukoro. Saka imi you are the corrupt mafia manje veve vane chapati everything natungwararo anoto kusutunetenda kutuone neketu vamusoro asikatomboziva kuti mari anayo banda ako nekupeka andaleke maskareti urombo chachi chivhayo haanoka jasina chaakamirira ivo zvinodiwa yango mhanya ukonstituensi yake nemapostori anana baba mozezvo vakuenda kumusha kwavo kuna nashuruti pamwe vakuda kuita ump vakomana paramendi iri nechivhurwa nehosrani ameno kupaera havasi pagwadza anenge akaitaurwa politics pachivakwa nyika kuonesa kungani zita rako unotokunetsa kunyora asi ndiwe chipo kustaff waiti kautoona kuti nyika ine iri kutotongwa nemaminimina anhu anonzi mashura. Saka vana vezimbabweka musanyepera iti junior kono arikunotarisirwa kutopindowe pababa zvino havana vanenge vachikomanikidzwa mudhara wenyuikawo ari kuisiyira ipanzvimbo yakaoma nekuti iko zvino ari kuita bhizi kuita basa rekukopa kuti kueswatini nene zvinhu zvichavanovifambisa sei asi munotaruziva kuti eswatini is a monarchy, the most discredited and the only lasting monarchy in the world. Eswatini nekumakisa kwainoita vanhu vakudzikana kupfema eswatini chii chaungakopepo nekueswatini kopa kuti vakadzi vakawanda chiiko chinokopewa pana mukadzi chii hapana batiko zvinodiwa hanisvikwa mubhizi kuda kukopewa zvinhu zvakajaka not in this country undoona kutanga nepfungwa dzevanhu kuti chamazere tizvitucha manyumwanyumwa kuti isairira akisiriya munangagwezvi asarudzwa nani asarudzwa nani mava kuisirwa akisiria party resolution ya 2024 ya 2025 tiudzei yakanga ina akisiria iri zvinochiona ii iko zvine zvichasvika panguva yekuti vanhu vari kuda kuita mavice president vakapromiswa muvice president Christopher Mutsvango aripo kuda chakupei ari kutozvirwarira uyu aripo opa muchinguri aripo wikidero chivhayo aripo nevamwe vatisina kuti vakamba kusakanganoreka kuti ana bebo chinomona vakatariswa nemaziso matuku akatogweta matisheti kawo atisina kutopindawo. Saka ine hondo itsva iyoyi yekuti vamwari vachizimi mazopinzayo ase koini ihondo ichaichaiki vakapromiswa uvice president ivava vanhu lava ende tinoshamisa patimbo racho reserori. Saka tichimunyika mapinda mhepo hapana nobody from Machiperere. It's a discredited Mashona project anchored by the Middle East power. This one is no place will be left unattended. Muchilas. The tribalism, ethnicism, elitism, it is serious. You go by a country around the havana ni pasa nisi. Ndio nikaenda na mkono. Mara yake wewe. Kuti iji up 2030. Ndio party resolution ile. Actually now to 2033. Saka chona my MPs magic atora simba repart in choosing party leaders. Our MPs magic. And our MPs are a false majority, a manufactured majority. Vasina kusarudza nevanhu. My MPs vakasarudza nevanhu akadzingwa kukoya vachaba. Chaba is not your opposition. It's a subsidiary party machine. Yes, I'm PA. chapa izangu yese iyoyo yakamira yakadaro saka ivavo ndo vakusarudza president saka havana chichivanetsaka kungoti nhasi tangoti asiria ndizvozvo andopinda but after doing all those shenanigans the bottom line iri kutaura kuti this whole process is illegitimate, it's unconstitutional. Hapana kana munhu one anombova akapa legitimacy or recognize such a stupid government. Never. Zvatakabvisira Mugabe 2017 akuda kutisira mudzimai wake Grace kuti atungamirire nyika yeZimbabwe. Exactly zvizvo zvakuita Mnangagwa anonga kutisira mudzimai wake Axiria. Pana Mugabe military yakakasika kuzviona ichibva yamurova. Apa pamuri kuhwangirwa munenge makarivara mozokuzwa kunzi Axiria fe. Ndizvozvo here retired generals, serving generals, the rank and file vari mumilitary ndizvozvo here makasaina oath for serving nyika ino yeZimbabwe. Military munozviziva kuti a constitutional mandate of upholding the constitution. Saka mukaregera zvinhu zvakadai zvichienderera mberi, that will be an unforgivable dereliction of duty. Vana venyika ino yeZimbabwe havakuregererei. Uniform yawakapfeka ngaikuratidze kuti wakaipfekerei. Inofanira kukutaurira histori yekuti wakandipfekerei. Mahovhesi zuva rawakabuda uchipinda kuenda kuhondo, kutambura kwawakaita, vamwe mukazoita rombo tikauya kumusha, vamwe vakasara. Zvibvunze iwewe kuti ko mumwangu akasara kuhondo aifira chinhu ichi, nyika kufira vanhu, akafira kuhondo, haana kana mhuri yaakasiya. Nanhasi mapfupa avo ari kunze, asi naita kuti ropa rangu rinowana pasi pemureza weZimbabwe. Iwewe mupenyu haugone kumurwira here mumaoko wawakasiya iwe. Nasino tiri kuona munhu ari kupembera murume mukuru anofarira bhasikoro raasingagoni kutoka ane makore 80. Ndoyawakaendera here. Izvi zvakakuitika kaizvi makaendera munhu here kuhondo magomberi muchibva chibwido nebasa rese rwakashaiwa usina ushingi hwakadii, asi uchi hwenyika hwodziwane vashomanana. Zvibvunzei kuti zvoragwa zvakadai here. Mayouth a lost generation, mayouth emakore ano akasiyana neuhiki hwatakaita izvi. Chokwadi munopembedza zvinhu zvakafa kutodzi varakashi vei vekutsigira chinhu chakaora. Madhiragisi avanokupai kuti musafunge, vakakuzvirikidza nemadhiragisi kuti musafunge. Vachiri kuona izvi hazvifana kwazvinofanira kuti zvisvike. Yanguva yekuratidza kuti kwete madzimai vana kubereka kunorwadza. Timunoona nhamo nekuchengeta vana. Muri kutsigira ndozvinhu zvamungavavekongonya here izvi. Makapfeka hembe dzinenge dzine uso hwamunangagwa padundundu. Dai achigona zvino ari kugona here apo iko zvino akuisa kunanga mukadzi wake. Manje vanenge mapinda kuti vanhu vese kuna amai. Vadzime venyika ino, vadzime venyika ino munotinzwa. Tinozviziva kuti nekufamba kwedu tese kubvira nemuhondo kwakanga kusiri kungwara. Hamubina nehando nyakasikana, sekuru chaminuka, sekuru murenga, sekuru tovera, mudzimu kulichamitukana sekuru kaguyu nemidzimu yese undoro nemakombwe matimi mana nguva yatasvika iyi yakuda kuti imi ndimi motitungamirira sekutungamirira kwamakaitika pahondo kuti nyika yenyu iuye wongo nyika yakauya apa pakudiwa kuti mhepo yenyu ngaichuya zvino kuti tichichinjinura vana venyu vatema vari kutonga zveudzvinyiriri zveutsinye zveumhou kuti nyika ichinaka saka muri aingayaure muripo muri aingayaure muripo saka tiri kukukumbirai kuti nguva yakwana imari dzedzimbabwe isu tiri vana venyu hatina chatinoziva chedu tinoteera chete matsimba emhondoro zvinoita kuti nguva yakwana aiwa tinotenda
So that's the address from Knox Chovero. Let's tune in for more analysis regarding what has just transpired. It has been a long